Good morning, everyone. Rabbi Becker, Brother Imani, Dr. Ailes, Blair Jackson, Shonda P., African Support Africans Corporation. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, ma'am. How are you doing?
Doing well, doing well.
Good morning, Rod. Well, good morning, all. Good morning, all. I am Dr. Emery Ailes, better known as the Black Swan. Welcome to another edition of the Lifeline University. Rod, what week is it? I don't want to mess it up this week. I'm going to refer to the expert.
This is week number 180, 180 straight weeks.
Oh my, 180 weeks already?
Already.
You mean to tell me that we've been at this for over, what, 3.5 years?
3.5 years. We done been through surgeries. We done moved residences. We done had COVID 2 and 3 times. And we keep coming back every Thursday. I done lost my hair. I mean, I had a nice head of hair when we started this thing 3.5 years ago.
This is a phenomenon. And so we want to welcome everybody. And the new episode, we are actually streaming live today on YouTube, on our YouTube channel. So it's different now. Yeah, I see you're there. So I'm going to ask our in-resident Rabbi Becker, would you take us to Mount Sinai this morning?
A pleasure. Thank you, God, for awakening us again to this beautiful day and for giving us the privilege and honor of serving you on this 180th consecutive week of the Lifeline. We are now in the period preceding the High Holy Days, preceding Rosh Hashanah, and we read Isaiah every week. And this week we're reading chapter 54. And I would like to just read the last part of that because it is so relevant to what we're doing. For the mountains may depart and the hills be removed, but the Lord's kindness shall not depart from you, neither shall his covenant of peace be removed, says the Lord, that has compassion on all of us. And with the Lord's compassion and with our own free will, let's begin this wonderful session together. Amen.
Amen, amen.
Amen, amen. And thank you, Rabbi Becker. And Rabbi Becker, you said that we had, you brought on this morning a guest by the name of Job. Is his name Job?
Right. Hi, Job. Maybe you could unmute yourself. Job is the chaplain manager of the Mission and Ministry Department for Advent Help.
You know what? That's I don't want to say a coincidence, but that's something because I have just been reading the book of Job this week, and then Job shows up. Pastor Job, the floor is yours.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Okay, my name is Job, and as Ron has said, I am manager, spiritual care department, Advent Health Cornerstone. I know I see Elisa over here. She's been encouraging me to join this group. Hi, Elisa. Yesterday, it was my great honor and the privilege to attend another meeting with Ron. So I'm happy to be here. Maybe today to observe and see what you guys are doing. And as time goes by, I could really love if you can include me so that you can be a full member. And I pledge that I can always find time. I know Elisa has been encouraging me. I'll always create time on Thursday to join you. So thank you for having me here today.
Well, thank you for being here this morning. And we are better because you are. We do have a word that's going to come forth in about 10 or 15 minutes. And I don't want to put you on the spot, but if you felt comfortable about coming and just giving us some encouraging words by the leading of the Holy Ghost, you can feel free to do so. But right now, I'm going to turn it over to Rod, my anchor, for the rest of the announcements for this portion. Rod, over to you.
All right. Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Rod Cunningham. I am retired Air Force Chief Master Sergeant. You hear that, Brother Imani? Chief Master Sergeant. And I want to welcome you to week 180. We are excited that you're here, and this is the time where we would actually you can actually put your flyers in the chat, and you can announce any activities that you have going on that you want us to support, that you want us to come out. Also, on this call, there are authors, speakers. We have more degrees on this call than a thermometer. And so whatever you need, you can find it right here in this community. We have psychologists, we have psychology interns, we have whatever you need in the community, you can find them right here. And if they're not on the call, you can just ask us and we can get you the kind of person that you need to help you with your project or to support your event that's going on. So at this time, please go ahead and put your flyer in the chat, and I'll give you 45 seconds. Tell us all about your event that's coming up. So the floor is open. Yes, go ahead.
Well, welcome. Thank you for having me, Lamar Callahan. My nonprofit is Africans Supporting Africans Corp. Our initiative is education, and what we're doing is tutorsforyou.org. What we do is online tutoring for $5 an hour for children and adults worldwide. Our website is, I'm sorry, I'm talking too fast?
No, you're good, go ahead.
Okay, tutorsforyou.org. And right now I'm looking for board members, CFO, bookkeeper, legal assistants, an event planner. And I thank you for having me as part of your group.
All right, well, thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
So tell us what you're looking for on your board again.
Oh,
And yeah, because I have a couple of questions, Rod. Go ahead.
okay, I'm looking for a CFO, a bookkeeper, a web designer, an event planner, and legal assistants.
Yeah. I want y'all to hear the list of the people that he wants on his board so he can have free services from these folks. This is the kind of folk you need on your board when you start your nonprofit. Don't go out paying a bunch of people, get them on your board, get you an attorney, get you a CFO, get you all of these people. So thank you for sharing that. That's a reminder to other folks who want to start their own nonprofit that these are the caliber of folks that you want. Also, you want a vice president of a major corporation who can walk into the president's office and ask for a check for $20K for the nonprofit. I'm just saying that's another tip for you. All right, so next, who's next? Alyssa, what do you have going on?
Rod,
I'm sorry, Dr. Ailes, you had a question. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I think that Africans supporting Africans. I think we need to know a little bit more. The Lifeline University would like to know a little bit more about that, your organization. And as the president, I'm going to ask that our leadership team look at how we can come alongside you and support, how we can work together. Is that all right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so ensure that you put your information, make sure that Rod, myself, one of us gets your information so that we can, and in fact, just stay on the call. If you could, stay on the call a couple of minutes after we close today.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You're quite welcome. Right over to you.
All right, Miss Alyssa, what do you have?
Hi, everyone. Good morning. I'm sharing an event of one of our lovely community partners, Pasco ASAP. I don't see Bonnie Snyder on the call this morning, so I'll share this on her behalf. They are doing a really neat art contest for teens. It's for middle and high school students, and it's all about raising awareness for Suicide Awareness Month. So the theme of the art contest is what gives you life. And I just thought it was really cool. I'll share the flyer in the chat. So if you have any youth, any middle schoolers or high schoolers in your life or in your circle that you can share this with, please get them involved. It's for a good cause. And there's prizes involved.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Go ahead.
Listen. First of all, Miss Alyssa, it was great seeing you on, I believe it was just yesterday or day before yesterday.
It's all a blur this week. It was Tuesday. Yeah. Day before yesterday.
Yeah.
I know, you made my day. It was so nice to meet you in person.
Just want to,
I was starstruck.
Yeah. I don't know. You all see that?
I was so delighted. It was such a good meeting. And then meeting you, Dr. Ailes, was like the cherry on top.
Yes. So excellent. So good to see you today as well. Rod, over to you.
Well, you know, Alyssa, he's the black swan, so did he kind of fly in the room? Was he smooth?
He was so smooth. I didn't even know he was there until I was about to leave. I was like, when did you sneak in? He glided right in.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Rabbi Becker, what do you have?
Okay, so beginning August 31st and continuing through October 9th, Live Tampa Bay, the Faith Leadership Committee, is sponsoring 40 days of prayer, a reflection on addiction, recovery, and community. And I will put the information in the chat. It consists of 40 faith leaders to volunteer, please, from different faith traditions who pray in different ways from diverse communities across the Tampa Bay region. Again, I mentioned it starts August 31st, which is a week from today, through October 9th. 40 Days of Prayer is a community-wide campaign to unite congregations and communities in prayer. Many people in our congregations and communities are struggling with alcoholism, addiction, or other behavioral health issues, and they need a breakthrough in their lives. Others who are new to recovery may feel isolated or alone. So this is happening really all over the country, and we're happy to participate here. Jennifer Webb is coordinating that. I don't see her on, so I will put the information in the chat then for that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that, Rabbi Becker. Blair Jackson, what do you have for us, sir?
Good morning. Good morning. So I did put in the chat, there's Hands of Hope has a sickle cell awareness walk that's happening on September 16th in Tampa. So there is opportunities for organizations to be involved as a vendor, but also they're really looking for volunteers to be a part of that event as well. So I did put it in the chat. Like I said, it's a few weeks away, but just wanted to give you guys a heads up on that. That's a really good organization that supports sickle cell. So.
All right, thank you, Brother Jackson. Your audio kind of went in and out too, but we heard you. But you might want to check your audio. All right, okay. Miss Enzalia, I see you clapping hands. I don't know if you said, "Hey, great job, Blair," or you saying that was supposed to be raising your hand because you want to talk. Go ahead, Miss Enzalia. You have the floor, ma'am.
Good morning. I couldn't get the right one to come up this morning, but I'm up and I feel really blessed to be here. I'm Enzalia Smith McLaughlin, statewide volunteer coordinator with the Department of Juvenile Justice, where our awesome Assistant Secretary is Alice Sims. So we come to bring to you our upcoming meetings. As you know, we started now, it's been over a year that we started our One Mentor, One Child program, and we are moving forward, I think about 40 strong with organizations, and we also recruit mentors to help our providers and our One Mentor, One Child partnership. So we ask that you join that group, and you will find that you will have a lot of training, a lot of resources shared with you. So we are moving forward with that. And most of you already know about our Prevention Community Network. The name was changed, but we are working with our faith and community partners. We bring them together monthly and to enhance their services through training as well, and fundings and all the things we can do to help you, and you would share in our network, helping us with our juveniles in our residential programs, detention centers, and prevention areas. So I put that information in our link. And last announcement, we don't want you to miss it. October the 31st, we are having our statewide Restoring Hope Training Summit. It's our 5th summit. It's going to be in Orlando, Florida. And if you see my information, you can get with me, and that's going to be November the 1st through the 31st. Thank you kindly.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Inslee. Always good to see you. It is 9:15, so I'm going to turn it back over to Dr. Ailes. You have the floor.
Hey, thank you, Rod. And just before we get into the word, I just want to just say Ms. Inslee is a phenomenal woman of God and leader here on the Lifeline. And what it has just been a pleasure coming alongside her and working with DJJ throughout the year. And you have our full support. Once again, I'm looking forward to your event in October as well. And anything that we can do as we are mentoring with the faith, anything we're dealing with faith leaders, let us know, let me know. You have our full support. All right. So Chaplain Joe, are you there?
Yes, I am here.
Okay.
I am
My
here.
friend, I want to introduce to just you to the group and the group to you. This is Chaplain Job. He came on just today. And I thank God that he didn't think it was robbery to come on. And in a spur of the moment, by the leading of the Spirit, I just asked him to just say a few encouraging words from the Lord. And so I just want to give him his time, a few minutes to come in God's own way. Let us give our attention to Chaplain Joe. Chaplain Joe, over to you.
Okay, thank you so much for giving me this chance. As I said, I don't have so much to share today. More of my presence here will be observing and seeing what you do. But in the coming days, I hope to have something or some good things to share. Thank you. The brother who said he's reading my book, the book of Job. Keep doing what you are doing. And please share in this group what you find out how that book is helpful to you. Briefly, maybe I can say about what we do over here in the hospital, and maybe that will open up your understanding and seeing opportunities where you can be of help. Advent Health Conaton is a long-term acute care facility. We are a small hospital, having the capacity here is 77 beds. That means the maximum we can have as patients here are 77. And because it's a long-term acute care, people stay here for quite some time. The average time the patients stay in our hospital is 25 days. So that gives us enough time for us to connect and to share and to support. But our resources, human resources, are limited because it's only me and I have 3 PRN chaplains. Together, 4 of us are not able to meet all the needs of our patients. And we have room, and we want to extend this invitation to all of you. I believe that most of you or all of you have received some theological training or are ministers by profession. Those are the people we are looking for to volunteer over here as caregivers. Our patients come from all faith, all backgrounds. They come from different faith traditions. And so having resources like what we have here, having people coming from different faith traditions will be a great resource for our patients, because sometimes I go to the patient's room and they may tell me, could you mind asking or looking, inviting my minister to come? And I ask them, who's your minister? I say, my tradition is Methodist or Baptist, or I'm a Muslim, or I'm from the Jewish background. So I'm not able to reach all those. And so I'm extending an invitation. I will put in the chat, I will put my name and my email. Those of you who feel called to volunteer. And our location is in Land O'Lakes. I hope all of you come up from area around. We are in the city of Land O'Lakes. So for those who may feel called and ready to volunteer your services for some time, please get in touch with me. I'm going to post my contact number, my phone number, and my email, so you can reach out to me. Thank you so much. That's all I need to share for now. And as I said in the beginning, thank you so much for having me here today.
No, Chaplain Job.
Yes.
Thank you. First of all, thank you for, first of all, being so kind enough to fill in the gap. Today, originally, we had a scheduled Imam Hassan, and I just got a text from Imam Hassan and saying that he was stranded. He was dealing with his car issue, so we need to lift him up in prayer. But thank you for responding to the call this morning. Could you just give us the name of the hospital? What is the name of the hospital? And I heard you say that it is in Land O'Lakes.
Yes, it is Advent Health Conaton, and I'm going to put it in the chat. The name of the hospital is Advent Health Conaton.
Okay. Because what I heard, you have an awesome dynamic ministry there, and there are people there that the facility is a long-term facility. I mean, 25 days. I think is long-term. That you have an opportunity to reach people for God, and the need is greater than the supply, from what I'm understanding. So yes, I believe this is an excellent opportunity for the faith leaders that are on the Lifeline, and perhaps I can even talk to some others that are probably not on right now, and some other organizations, to come alongside you to help fill in the gap. Thank you so much. Thank you so very much.
Alicia sometimes comes to support our ministry over here, and if you could like, you can give her a chance. If there's something I forgot to mention, sometimes I've had personal connection with Alicia to mention our needs. And if Alicia, you have something to comment or to say to add on what I said, that will be
absolutely. Alyssa, you have a comment? You have feedback?
I think I'm just really delighted that Chaplain Job is here. I've been telling him about the Lifeline for a while, so I'm so glad that you're able to make it today, Chaplain Job, and I think you delivered your mission message perfectly. And also want to thank you, Rabbi Becker, for getting that information on the Interfaith Council that Job was able to attend yesterday. So it's really exciting, and I have to just give Chaplain Job a shout out. He's really making efforts in the hospital to make it feel more inclusive and welcoming to all faiths. So just really happy for this moment and seeing it come to life.
Thank you so much.
Thank you once again, Alyssa, so much for what you do. And you just make it a joy and a delight to work with you in the garden, in God's great garden. All right, Rod, over to you.
All right. Thank you very much. Miss Alyssa, can you tell us what you guys are doing with mental health first aid and who you partner with and how that's going?
Sure, I'd be happy to give an update on that. So we are partnering with an organization this community health plan cycle called Safe and Sound for our mental health first aid courses. We were offering them in previous years, but it was just our small team. So me and a few other people that were working as trainers. So by partnering with Safe and Sound, we're going to be able to greatly increase our reach across our community. So we are still in the works of getting all the loose ends tied up. Rod, can I share that you're one of our wonderful folks that one of our wonderful mental health first aid trainers that we're partnering with, along with several other wonderfully talented individuals who are teaching both adult and youth mental health first aid classes. So as we finalize classes and I get flyers, I will be happy to share them at upcoming meetings and would love your help in recruiting and filling these classes. Anything you'd like to add, Rod?
So let me verify for clarity reasons. So Advent Health has a grant that they're now going to Safe and Sound to actually administer that grant and get the instructors and do the classes, so on and so forth. Then there's St. Pete College, who got they're doing the same thing that Safe and Sound is doing, but their grant came from Community Foundation of Tampa Bay, which got their money from SAMHSA, which is a national government agency. So there are two different organizations. So you know, if you're an instructor, you can actually teach for both organizations. Both organizations are currently looking for instructors as well. So just wanted to put that out there. There's the mental health first aid. I'm sure that Ms. Jennifer and Rabbi Becker, who was in this last class, can attest to the importance of being of taking the course and how not only it'll affect you but the people that you love.
And Rabbi Becker wasn't there by himself. I took the class again as a quasi instructor, and then also we got Reverend Christian Frazier as well, who is an instructor. He's on with us here, even right now. So my question is, what is it that we have to do? And I know that we're getting ready to be down at Rabbi Becker's in October. So what do we have to do to, Alyssa, what is it that you would like from us?
Sure. So I would appreciate your assistance in helping to fill the classes. My understanding is that we do have some scheduled. I just don't have the flyers with the direct link to register. So as soon as I have that, I can share that with you, Dr. Ailes, and with you, Rod, and we can maybe disseminate that to the Lifeline distribution list, if that's okay with you, just to help get the word out. So that would be most helpful for the Advent Health portion. And it sounds like from what Rod is saying, St. Pete College is looking for additional instructors. Is that what I heard?
That's correct.
So if you or anyone you know are interested in getting involved in that initiative, then maybe Rod, you could be a connection.
Yes.
Awesome.
So do you hear that, folks? We have two opportunities here today, and I hope that you all are, taking notes. And please also, if you can, if it's not too much, there's an opportunity. There's a way that you can click the share link in your dashboard. If you just share this link to somebody, one of your friends or Facebook or somebody, share this and invite them on today, because I believe this is a very resourceful episode here on the Lifeline this morning. Rod, over to you.
Yes, and keep in mind that when Reverend Frazier speak, he might be speaking of another organization who may also be providing courses and instructors and so on and so forth. So just know that, you know, the most important thing is to get the training. All of us on this line should have that training, right? Then if you want to be an instructor, then, you know, there's an opportunity to do that as well. I became an instructor about 2.5 to 3 years ago. And I became an instructor because somebody came on the Lifeline and said, we're looking for instructors. And that's how I got involved. And I've probably taught now about 20 courses over that time period. So it's a wonderful course. I love it. And so you guys will love it too. Go ahead, Jennifer.
Hey, yeah, Alyssa, I was wondering because Terry Shaw, y'all's CEO, is a member of our leadership coalition, just like St. Pete College and Community Foundation of Tampa Bay. So where do you fall? Because I had a conversation with him about this just last week, and he didn't give me your name. He gave me somebody else's name. So I was wondering what division do you fall? Because I know he's kind of
Terry Shaw's all the way at the tippy top, so he doesn't even know I exist. But I know he exists. But I work for the West Florida division. So our division covers basically a geographical footprint of like Hillsborough all the way up to Ocala, northern Pinellas, and then all the way east to like Polk County, Hardy Highlands.
In what department within the healthcare system?
Community benefit.
Okay. Awesome. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Okay. I think, that's really helpful. I think I know the head of community benefits for the system, so I'll reach out.
Okay, great. Yeah, if
Awesome.
you need any connections or if you're not sure, just let me know. But it sounds like you're on track.
Awesome. Thanks.
Awesome. It is 9:31. We're back on time. And so we're going to go ahead. Well, we were ahead of time. And so now we're back at the even point. So we're going to go ahead and introduce Ms. Shonda Peaton. She is, did I say it right this time? All right, good stuff. And so this is her third and final installation for today or for this month. She's going to bring us a mental health message. She is an intern under Dr. Simmons' Community Victory something. Go ahead, Shonda P. You have the floor.
Good morning, everyone. So yes, I am a mental health intern under the supervision of Dr. Shanae Simmons. It's the Community Victory Family Services, doing business as the Collective Wellness Institute. And so today I wanted to talk about grief, and not in the normal sense of grief. I mean, when we say grief, I think everybody's aware of the process when you lose someone, that grief work. But there are other losses that we go through that require some grief work to be done to help process those losses. And I just wanted to bring some awareness to those types of losses. So I don't know who is aware of divorces, but the end of a relationship would definitely require some grief work to be done. Failed business ventures, faith. There's a lot of folks that have been on here that have had challenges with their faith. Working through that process is also what requires some grief work. Financial security, whether it's due to a layoff or economic shifting, such as a market crashing, that would require some grief work to be done. Your home. We just saw that horrible incident that's going on in Hawaii, where people have instantly lost everything. And that will require some grief work to help them process through that huge sense of loss. Independence. As we get older, that sense of having to rely on other people grieving our youth and our ability to get in the car and drive away, having to ask assistance for some of our basic daily needs, such as going to the bathroom or being clean, would require some grief work to be done. Mental ability, again, whether that's through an accident or a diagnosis where there's going to be mental loss, that would require grief work. Pets, I know that that's becoming more acceptable in society, that when someone is devastated by the loss of a beloved pet, I remember when I first encountered that, not having the same sense of compassion as I would had someone said they had lost a child or a spouse or a beloved person. But now the loss of a pet, definitely. Physical health, such as an injury at any age, whether it deters you or prevents you from carrying on a career or lands you in a wheelchair, anything that's physical that changes or alter your state. Plans, hopes, and ideas, whether they're your own or the plans and hopes and dreams, I'm sorry, not ideas, but dreams that you had for your children or your grandchildren. Failing to meet those is also a loss. Relationships, whether it is a friendship, a lot of, for instance, best friends, whether you outgrew them or some type of falling out, losing those relationships can be quite devastating. Co-workers, lovers, any ship, I'm just gonna say ship that would fall under relationship. Your role in life. We have that empty nester when parents experience the loss of their children leaving the house, and they feel that they no longer have that role as a parent. Sense of safety and security. The one that speaks to me on that one is 9/11, as well as COVID, where our sense of safety and security was drastically, instantly altered, having to grieve that sense of security and safety. Status. We hear when a lot of folks retire, they go through a grieving process. They may not be aware that it's a grieving process. There's a lot of depression associated with folks retiring, but any type of shift in status. Let's talk about the layoff. Like, you had this very prestigious job, your company has a layoff, you're laid off, and now you have to take work that may not be as prestigious as you previously have. Losing that identity and dealing with that change is a sense of a loss. And also treasured possessions, whether it's through devastation through natural disasters or whatever that may be, but those are different kinds of losses that we experience that we may not be aware that we need to do the work to grieve it. Also, anytime that we do the work on ourselves and change, we're grieving the old self, the old idea of who we are and what we thought we wanted to accomplish, and we have to settle for this new, improved vision of ourselves. A lot of people don't realize that there's grief in the work that we do to get better and to heal. Let's see. There are some things that will disenfranchise, well, we call this disenfranchised grief, which refers to grief that is experienced that is not openly acknowledged, socially accepted, or publicly mourned. And if you look at the friendship When you go back to friends, coworkers, former spouses, partners, lovers, aged parents, and beloved pets, I reached on that. A lot of times, the ability to say out loud or to share that experience with someone is not done because you may feel that you're ridiculed or people won't understand, or that lack of compassion or empathy because it's not deemed a significant loss. Grief looks different and is processed different for everybody. I'm not going to grieve the same way as Rod grieves, and Rod's not going to grieve the same way that Alyssa grieves. So we cannot compare. It's not a contest. It's definitely not a contest. Pain is pain, loss is loss. It's all significant and relevant to the individual. And so my process would definitely look different than everybody else's process, and that's okay. And I wanted, the point that I wanted to talk about is definitely there's no certain way that it should look or feel or sound. Like I said, grief is grief, and it's a process that has to be processed. You know, you go through grief, you don't get over it, you have to go through it. And it's a lifetime process. It's a lifetime process that gets smaller. And then there can be events that may trigger it, and you feel that loss all over again. I'm reminded of that with my mother. My mom's been gone 21 years now, and she had a really close relationship with my daughter. So I find that I miss her the most during awesome occasions that my daughter, like her graduation from high school, her graduation from college, the birth of her my grandbabies, her children. I find that in those moments, I do grieve my mom the most, or I'm triggered by those events because I knew that she would be very proud of her and would be here celebrating her. So just having a sense of awareness of birthdays and anniversaries that are going to come up and that I may be triggered. Sometimes, like next week is my brother's birthday, which is also my granddaughter's birthday. So it's kind of a bittersweet occasion. Sometimes I can process, and sometimes people will find that birthdays sneak up on them because the brain may forget, but the heart doesn't. And there may be some behaviors, grieving that we may not be aware. Like, why am I so sensitive about this? Like somebody just said hello to me and I started crying. What's going on? And we just need to be aware of those triggering moments for us. I think the last thing that I wanted to say about grief is that it's not a linear process. It's not a straight line. You may go from here to here, back to here, stay here for a moment, but we must be willing to honor the process and give time to do what it does. And that's all I have on grief and loss.
Great job, Ms. Shonda Peaton. We truly appreciate all of the great knowledge that you continue to bring us for the last 3 weeks. I want to add one to that. I'm grieving my hair. It reminded me when I had to shave my head that I was getting older, that I was losing something. That's why I started working out, right? To overcome all of that. And grew a beard, right? So just to make up for some of all of that stuff, right? That's my own little thing I had going on. But I think I was grieving my hair. The other thing I grieved was when my mom passed, becoming the adult, right? I have grandkids, so now I have to be that person my mom used to be. And so going into that role was like, okay, my parents are gone. I'm that parent now. You know what I mean? I have to depend on me. I don't have anybody I can depend on. So that piece, and one I want to really add to your list is military transition. That is a huge issue that the military still haven't figured out. They have some courses that they give us when we're retiring or we're getting out. It's called the TAPS briefing, Transition Assistance Program. And they give us a lot of resources, but it still, folk leave the military and become suicidal. First of all, they had a whole lot of cover from the military, from housing to food to the military took care of you for all of these years. You had friendships. You know, no matter where you go, there was comradeship. If you go to the war, you got your buddy in the foxhole. You didn't even have to know each other, but you know you can depend on each other, right? Especially Marines go through this a lot because they have a tighter bond than any other service. But just, you know, that military transition. Now, what am I going to do for work? Are people going to really respect my leadership skills? Do I have to start over? Can I go into a high level position because of what I did in the military? So the military transition is huge, even to the point of suicidal ideation. So I want to give you that piece as well. But thank you so much for sharing that and bringing that out. You brought out some great stuff that people hadn't really thought about these last 3 weeks. So thank you for sharing that. Dr. Ailes, over to you.
Thank you, Chandra, for bringing that out, especially all of the information that you have brought out throughout your whole entire episodes here, but particularly this one. And I see several comments in the chat, and grief, you're absolutely right. A couple of us, we've just taken a trauma grief healing course there with Toomey as well. And you're absolutely right. Grief is not, and dealing with it is not linear. And it's a journey. It's a journey. And you're right. And sometimes it's a lifelong journey. Where we do get better. Right. But then you're right. Sometimes, you know, there are triggers that may send us back and, you know, we will remember the event or what have you. And then we have to apply steps to continue to keep getting better. So I do want to open up the floor today and allow individuals to talk about their grief. If there's anyone grieving today, to come on, you can unmute your mic. And if any of the principles that was taught today was beneficial to you, you can come on and say something to that as well. The floor is open.
I just wanted to say, Shonda, thank you for that. It is an area that a lot of us don't talk about. And I even talk about it with friends. Like, even when you move across country, people grieve those friendships, and typically they don't deal with them. And it's an area that we really need to start addressing within ourselves. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Reverend. Anyone else?
That's that hairline, I agree.
And I know we're laughing about that, but you know, this is the second time you brought that up. And that may be a real, you know,
problem.
You know, I know that I'm serious. I don't want to take this I don't want to, you know, take this lightly, you know, because he brought this up twice. So, you know, how many of us, you know, are, you know, especially men, you know, suffering from the grief of, you know, receding hairline, you know, or the grief of, you know, we're just not as young as we used to be.
Absolutely. That aging process is grief. Like the physical, when we talk about the physical health, the hair loss can go under that youthful look, the wrinkles, the gray. Like I fight gray. I'm gonna go down fighting. I'm gonna color it and pluck it out. And when the gray in my hair is talking too loud, I'm gonna hush it by covering it up with color. I'm gonna fight that because I'm in denial.
I cut mine off.
Yes, the aging process does have moments where we have to acknowledge that we're no longer able to do the things that we do. Like at 45, you may not be able to go on the basketball court and play with the 20-year-olds because they're going to dunk on you and send you home and call you old man or old woman. And we just have to, you know, process that, practice some acceptance, and you know, function within our capacity.
Can we address the elephant room as well? Like even our physical you know, components in our bodies, you know, not, you know, doing, you know, intimacy, the change in intimacy, that can be, you know, a grief, you know, as well.
They got a lot of stuff for that though, Dr. Hale.
Yeah, eat a raw egg and drink a shot of gin.
You just need to spend a little extra, about $30 a month to get you some stuff, but you good. Hey, too much stuff out there on the market.
No, I'm trying to be serious about this, man, because people are grieving here. You know what I mean? And I'm serious about, you know, how many people that really are struggling with these life change. And these are life change. These are things that are going to happen, you know. So how do you, you know, navigate through?
Reverend Dr. Ailes, to your point, like this morning, I mentioned to somebody that I'm having hormone fluctuations. I'm in perimenopause. And I did that intentionally with a group of people that I trust because it's something that is very sensitive to me and it's a really hard change. And I noticed that I had been avoiding it. And I know that avoidance leads to some bad maladaptive behavior, even if it's not as extreme as the maladaptive coping and behavior that I had in my 20s. I don't want to go back there. And so I just said, you know what, I'm going to start owning this and saying this out loud and giving myself space to feel it. And so I really appreciate you, Rod, talking about your hairline, because I think that, you know, that's a physical manifestation of whatever changes happen in men. Whereas for me, I mean, there's also weight gain and other stuff, but you know, I just happen to have the proof in my hands from my doctor, which is, you know, and so it's connected to childbearing, it's connected to status for women in community and all of these things. And it is, and I hate to, and I really do, I don't want to admit it, but it's like, there's a lot of grief around that for me that I'm not even really wanting to feel. So I appreciate you, Rod, I think it's brave to say, I miss my hair. And I think and I think that humor is a really good coping mechanism too, because, you know, it helps us kind of deal with it incrementally. Kind of it's your version of me going to the people I trust most this morning and saying, I'm, you know, yeah, like I've been missing this meeting in the morning because my hormones are in flux. And sometimes I just can't get out of the bed at 7 a.m.
And Jennifer, thanks for saying that, because you have sisterhood to say welcome. When you get to the other side of the acceptance piece, there is freedom. There is some freedom that comes with menopause. And I can say that because I've already gone through it. There's some freedom.
Yes.
I'm going to have to breathe that in a little bit. And believe that you believe.
So a couple of the principles that I got from you thank you, Jennifer. Thank you for being transparent, for being authentic. This is the platform, Lifeline University, where we have set liminal space, where it's safe space to be able to do that. And I appreciate you for that. I want you to know that. And so some of the principles that I got back is one, we own it. Just own where we are. Own it and be able to, articulate it. And to be able to articulate it. If that's what I'm, and then also laugh. I heard that you say laugh. So laughter is laughter is a good piece of medicine as well. All right, excellent. Is there anyone else?
Shonda also mentioned that you got to feel it, let it come in, let it let it process through your body, feel it. And then let it just deal. How did you say it? Go ahead, Shonda, you're the expert. Go ahead.
There's freedom.
There's freedom, and you have to
Yeah.
express your emotions as you experience them. And whether that's through humor, through crying, as long as the conversations are being had, I don't care whether it's through jokes. I mean, some people, that's how they handle serious topics, is through humor. And so just opening your mouth and talking about it and acknowledging it releases some of the power and the stigma and the bad feelings that you may have inside of you about what's going on with you.
Good stuff. Anybody else? Good stuff. Good stuff. Anybody else?
Yeah, it's also important not to fight grief, to accept it and embrace it, because it's going to come sometimes when you least expect it. If you've had a loss and you try to fight it, when those waves come over you in time, and usually a loss can last a lifetime, the feeling of a loss and betrayal and those kinds of emotions. So accepting it, articulating it, and being able to cope with it and just not deny it, because when you deny it, that's when you fall into a mental health crisis. So it's important again to accept grief.
Pain is in the resistance.
Thank you for that, Rabbi Becker. Here's what I would say as we're getting ready to close in a few minutes. You know, we all have, I believe in therapy, right? I highly believe in therapy. Anytime I lose someone, if I go into the grief state, I'm calling the VA to talk to my therapist the next day. Somebody passed away that I care about, even if I haven't seen them in 10 years, but I care about them because they're a family member or what have you. I'm going to therapy the very next day because I can't afford to sit too long in my own stuff, right? And just let the TV watch me. I want to go and get somebody to help me step through this. So I said that we all have therapists or counselors because we've made our best friend our therapist. We made our cousin, our mom, our children, our partners, our spouses. We've made all these people therapists, our therapists, and they are not trained to be that. Let them be your mother. Let them be your best friend. Don't make them your counselor. It's not fair. It's not fair that every time you get on a call with them, you're always going, oh yeah, you know, I'm going through, I was triggered today. No, call your therapist with that and let your friend be your friend. Let your brother be your brother. Dr. Ailes, back over to you.
Thank you, Rod. Good stuff. All right. Are there any more? Anyone else?
Yeah, this is Imani. And I was curious about this thing about grief, particularly along the lines of finality, dealing with death and stuff from a biblical standpoint. And you know, it's kind of commonly taught in some of the settings and sanctuaries that, you know, God gave Israel 30 days to get over their grief. And that's kind of has been the benchmark a lot of times when we lose loved ones. And that's what is taught in some areas of the Christian faith. I just wanted to see if there was a response or anything to that. Or is that a common practice?
And
Imam,
I'm sorry. So mourning, I believe what you're talking about is mourning. And that
Yes.
is that refers to the expression of grief in a culturally specific way, because you have bereavement, you have grief, you have mourning, and you have the loss. So the mourning is what it sounds to me that you're talking about with the 30 days, about the 30 days. But, you know, the loss of something or someone stays with us. And that process, that pain of losing someone, you know, we don't stop loving someone because they're no longer with us. Like it's not like that person no longer exists and that love just disappears. We still have that, and we still need to process and accept, and we have to process it intellectually, emotionally, to accept that person or that thing that has been with us is no longer here. And what does life, how do we live, or how do we move forward with this vacant spot next to us? So what it sounds like what you're saying is the mourning part, which is very culturally specific, as far as I know that the Muslims and have their own protocol in processing in that mourning process, or that mourning period.
So I guess why is it that we don't accept the fact that there will be losses in our lives and loved ones, people who are close to us? I mean, I find that to be extremely difficult, to the point it becomes a mental health crisis or an obstacle in your path as you move forward.
I think that we grieve hard when we have people in our lives who loves us unconditionally. Unconditional love is a hard thing to find. Even though we all want it, very few of us are giving it. And when you have someone that has been a champion of you your whole life or your whole relationship, and they believe in you and they love you just like you are, but and so on and so forth, and then they pass away, you're like, well, who's going to love me like that now? And so there's an emptiness of, where can I go for my soft landing? Where can I go when I really need a person just to love me and not judge me? And I think that hole that's missing, or not being able to have that person in your life, I think that has a lot to do with how tough it is for us to get through.
Just on the healing side of the grief aspect of it, just briefly. So a lot of times individuals, as you talked about, creating a scholarship or something or another like that, not necessarily letting go, but growing in the grief and growing intimately with an understanding of the person and those intricate values that are so special to you. How do you embrace them and move on and pass them on to others?
If we were only taught that as soon as we lose someone, how to come out of that, to step through. That's what I do. That's my speeches. That's my book. It's the step-by-step process, how to come out of that. I had to figure that out. I had suicidal ideation after losing my mom. And I was in the Air Force at the time. And I had to figure out on my own how to come out. And I started to write about that so I can help others do the same.
And also, like what you mentioned earlier about therapy, I mean, that is what therapy is about doing the work and explaining the process and taking you through the process. And a lot of times we're not taught these processes. We don't know them. So that's why we partner with the therapists, we partner with the life coaches to be able to help you and walk you step by step through that process. For me, I know, like, my father passed away when I was younger, and I really was not able to handle it well. I couldn't even go into a church for a while. But when I became older and I had a better understanding that his soul lives forever, it actually helped make me happier.
So the tools, we have to be given the tools. And if nobody's giving it to us or helping us through that, we just struggle through it. And we're, emotions, our head and our hearts just keep clashing, and we have these outbursts of emotions. And that becomes a part of our life. It's being triggered all the time from a smell, a taste, something you see, and you can see a apple pie and bust out crying because that's what your grandmama used to make, and it smelled just like grandma's house. And so we stay in a constant state of being triggered instead of a constant state of, I'm going to wake up today and I'm going to have a great day, and I'm going to do my self-care, and I'm going to build myself up, and I'm going to celebrate the life of my mother versus the mourning the death. So I don't celebrate the day she died, I celebrate the day she was born. Right. And then I create that scholarship in her name. So somebody is going to college, and they're going to college because of my mother, and I'm a better man today because she lived. Right. And so just doing the work, you can't just wake up and expect everything is going to be great. We have to do the work. And that's what the word is, doing the work. When you read the word is telling you to do the work. And we're not doing the work. Forgive people. Oh, no, I don't want to forgive them. No, I can't do it. So I'm sorry, we digress. It's 10:04. Dr. Ailes, back over to you.
To be continued.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. We kind of went over. I want to apologize for everyone, but this just means that it was a rich episode this morning. We are past 10 o'clock. So let me just go ahead. Are there any other anybody else who want to say anything? I know Imam Hussein just joined us. Welcome, Imam. You want to say a couple of words and then close us out with a word of prayer?
No, just sorry I had to deal with the car situation. Next week I'll make it up. It's nice to hear the discussion about mourning, but I think like Amani said, it will to be continued. But I'll go ahead and do the prayer. In the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful, the extremely merciful, I ask him to enable us to forgive each other, love each other, care about each other, that God helps us with our anxiety and enables us to use wisdom with knowledge and understanding, to be compassionate towards our family, to be caring about our mother and father and pray for them even in their absence or presence. So God use us and not replace us, and that God uses us to be the one that puts a smile on somebody's face. We ask God for all those suffering around the world, those who are oppressed, that we be an answer to their prayer. We ask God to make us sincere in our actions, thoughts, and ideas, that God humbles us, makes us amongst those who are humble and not arrogant, those who are purely care about all humanity, and remove the diseases of racism, nationalisms, and anyism that will put barriers between us. And ask God to bless everyone with a wonderful day. Amen.
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 Amen. Bless you all. Look forward to seeing you next week on the Lifeline. Please remember all of the announcements with Live Tampa Bay, with Chaplain Job, with what we're doing with the 40 days of prayer. And we certainly look forward to seeing you all next Thursday on the Lifeline. Blessings to you all.
Emory.
Yes, we got to stay. Yeah, we're going to stay on for a minute or two.
Yeah, I got to run, but I want to make sure you send out the link for for 7 o'clock tonight.
Okay. All right.
I think you did it last week, if I ain't mistaken, but this is a clumsy group that I'm working with, including myself.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So
Yeah.
We require a little bit more attention. So if you do that, I'll take you out for a Happy Meal sometime.
All right. I look forward to it.
I'll be in touch.
Okay. Bless you.
Okay.
Africans supporting Africans.
Yes, sir.
All right. How is it that we can help?
Well, I'm definitely looking for board members. And as far as support for Tutors for You, the goal is to get the word out that we exist. That's the key.
Okay.
That's the key, is to get the word out that we exist, because we need to help families, and families need to know that we exist. So,
okay. So exposure.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. We have. What do we have from you? Do we have a flyer? Do we have all of the information about Africans supporting Africans or the tutoring services? Do we have that information?
I can send that to you. Yes, we have flyers, or postcards. Well, actually, we have a social media company has printed out or created some flyers for us.
Okay.
On our website, we have a link to Facebook.
Okay.
And from there, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, they go ahead and do a posting, and you'll get it in your feed. But the thing is, from there is to share it and let other people know that we exist. And what